James Hagens. What's the deal with that guy?
This is hockey right here.
Bruins! Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Welcome into the Garden Level Podcast, episode 25, part of the Rogue Media Sports Network. Dan Conlon, Cam Stuart. Oh man, the skin and the khaki hat and the kind of light brown wood behind me, Dan. It's all kind of mixing together. Episode 25 of the Garden Level Pod. And Dan, real quick before we bring on our guest, Bruins coming off the biggest win of the year? Question mark.
Some would say. I mean, it had that playoff kind of atmosphere, and Swayman was lights out. So every game is important when it comes down the stretch. And I think the next game, that mentality, the next game will be the most important.
We're talking to Brady here.
So Tuesday's game against Toronto, that's the biggest game of the year right there.
Biggest game of the year. Biggest game of the year. You love a little tune-up when you're in the playoff race. Get a little exhibition against an AHL team. I think that's a really nice thing to do. Yep. Really nice thing to do. We should have gone to that game. We should have. What's stopping us from hopping on a plane and going to Detroit in this beautiful time of year?
Yeah, it's a TSA lines. That's going
to stop us. Having a connection in LaGuardia could stop us. That's why I'm in this office and not my house.
You got a road game. You got a road game today.
Yeah,
and
it's very regal in here.
People say you perform better at home. So this is a big episode for you. Some people say your performance kind of dips a little bit when you're on the road.
Totally.
Not me, but people. So this is a good episode for you to prove it.
People have said, you know what, Dan? I think I am going to prove it, but just to make sure, I'm bringing in reinforcements. I'm bringing in some help while I'm on the road. And I'm talking big guns, big time NHL trade deadline acquisition from Winnipeg, Manitoba. The one, the only Bobby Brewski. Bobby, how you doing, my friend?
What's going on, fellas? Thank you guys so much for having me. Crazy deadline. Wasn't really expecting to go down to the wire. Agent called me. It's a Garden Level. I just didn't even hesitate. Just packed the bags, and it took me a while, as you mentioned, the TSA lines. Just a lot of waiting. But we made it.
We trade you. We had to give up a first round pick for you. It's top 5 protected. They wanted top 10, but top 5 protected. So
I know you could tell what we were building here. You could tell that. And how
and the culture, the mindset, the history.
Of course.
These are all these are all things that that really spoke volumes with me, and I talked about it with my family. And
the illustrious history, episode 25. Bobby, do you have a favorite number 25 Bruin?
Ooh, because the only one I can think of is Brandon Carlo.
Hey, he is going to be one of the most impactful Bruins of the next cup contending team. I'll say that.
He'll probably go down as my favorite 25 as it works. The only other one I could think of right now is Stastny when he played for the Jets. But I watched Brandon Carlo's first goal with the Boston Bruins. It happened right in front of me. Yeah. I think it was his second game, actually. But yeah, just Marshy whiffed it.
It doesn't matter how bad. That's a good point. Without trying to make a point, it really doesn't matter how good the player is. They're scoring in their first 2 or 3 games.
Yeah,
Ryan Donato scored game 1, dude, and he's a fine player. It took a while, but he scored game 1 anyway. Yeah, so tell us the story.
Oh yeah, Marshy whiffed on the puck, and I was like, oh, there it is. And I remember Carlo just came right behind him and just, classic. Well, we'd see the Carlo bomb blasted it past Hellebuck. And I remember just being like, all right, this kid's pretty good. I remember being impressed that, because you see a tall defenseman and you're used to them not learning how to skate with their height and their body. And I remember he nailed it pretty good. But I've actually, and my favorite thing to trip Toronto fans with is I've seen more Brandon Carlo goals than I've seen Austin Matthews goals. And I've seen Toronto play like 4 or 5 times. You know what I mean? I've seen like 4. I've seen like 4 Brandon Carlo goals. I've only seen 1 Austin Matthews goals in my time.
Dude.
So who's the better American hockey player?
You know what else you could say?
Was Carlos snubbed?
Absolutely. Should have been in Team USA.
Should have been the captain.
Bobby Brewski can say he has seen more Brandon Carlo goals than Wayne Gretzky goals.
True.
People haven't been talking about that, but that needs to get talked about more. Brandon Carlo goals versus Wayne Gretzky goals. Dan, do you have a favorite Bruin number 25?
I will say Brandon Carlo had some good years with the Bruins, and when you look at the trade return we got for him, I think that should make people like him even more. We have Fraser Minton because of him. We have possibly another top 10 pick coming this year. We'll see how that goes. I'm monitoring that on a day-to-day basis. So
Dan's monitoring.
We'll see.
Dan's on it.
Yeah. I'll do Matt Fraser
There we go.
because of his overtime goal in Montreal. So Carlo's the obvious one, but I'll throw in Matt Fraser. I did also look up other Bruins have 125, and I did not know Max Talbot wore 25, but apparently he did.
Hell yeah, dude. Hal Gill?
Yeah.
Gill, dude. I think that's got to be my pick then. I think Don wore 25, but I'm going Hal Gill.
I will admit, I just looked at the list, and Andy Brickley wore it for about 5
Yes,
seasons.
that's right.
And I was like, damn, should have said Andy Brickley.
That's right. You know, I saw Andy Brickley was by a big-time NHL scout at practice yesterday. I can't remember the dude. Yeah, nice beard.
Today.
Backwards hat. Yeah, today.
Guardian Level Podcast, Warrior Ice Arena correspondent Dan Conlon was at practice today, and he walked in and saw Andy Brickley taking notes. So I sat 2 chairs away from him. Didn't want to make it look obvious by sitting right next to him, but Andy Brickley, always working. Very good 25 choice. To be honest, I did not scroll that all the way down and not know he was worth 25. But I saw Carlo, Max Talbot, Matt Fraser, and I stopped looking. But
that's all you need.
Yeah,
Bobby,
Andy Brickley,
do you
always
still have
working.
the list in front of you?
I can pull it up.
List?
Yeah.
I just want to see if there's any like really funny name on there.
Well, Willie O'Ree wore it. I think that was like his 3rd stint with the Bruins.
Man. Willie O'Ree.
I know Fanatics cannot keep up.
They really can't. Jesus. Anyway, I was just trying to see. Sometimes there's
that's the other name that pops up. I'm sure there's some old heads that are probably like, you don't know Downing Shook or Mike Walton. They both wore the 25 and 71. You weren't there, and it's like, no, I was not.
Please, someone get in the comments and say that, and give a real reason that we should know Donnie Shook. Please let us know.
Speaking of Hal Gill, I think this is a good transition into the talk of the town right now. Boston College's season ended on Friday. They lost to UConn in overtime. It is now Monday, and we have not heard any updates of the Bruins signing a Boston College prospect that they drafted. Do you guys think this is Bruins front of house mismanagement by not signing Oscar Jelvik by now? That's the talk of the town right now. He is not signed. It is Monday night, and Jelvik is still.
Any word on Gasso? Jelvik is actually low-key kind of interesting because he was finally healthy the second half of the year and was pretty good. Is he going to be the first BC Eagle from this Bruins prospect pool that gets signed? Oscar Jelvik? Bobby? Oscar Jelvik?
I mean, hey. Could be the move. Don Sweeney is Mr. Unorthodox.
That is true.
Strange things.
He throws some curveballs in there.
Sweeney makes phone calls, man.
That dude loves a good phone call. I'm just saying, we talked about number 25s. The only Bruins jersey with a number that James Hagens has ever worn is number 25, and that was on draft night. It's the only. You look up a picture of James Hagens in a Bruins uniform with a number on it, not Dev Camp, with a number on it. 25. That's the one. Fellas, I know we're on the Oscar Jelvik train here, but if I may bring up a smaller story that I don't think enough people are talking about. James Hagens, unsigned as of the time of this recording on Monday night, to be released Tuesday. And this seemed like it was going to be an automatic thing. Once this season was over, not only were they going to sign him, but he was going to be in the lineup. We started circling that Toronto game that is tonight, Tuesday night. So, Bobby Brewski, I open the question up to you first. Why has this not been done yet? Damn it. Why haven't you done this, Bobby?
As somebody who has close relations to somebody who may or may not have been in the same room with Jimmy Hagens' uncle, who, of course, knows his parents.
Wow.
My best guess would be it's a huge decision. It's a massive decision. I think the weight of the loss on Friday and the expectations they fell extremely short of. It's to just for like, and I felt bad for the fans like cheering for UConn, and it was like this kid still wants to, like this kid still has a goal, right? Like
his future fans just rooting against him.
Yeah,
I did
like
brutally
brutally hard.
Yeah.
I did not join in because I was like, you know what, like winning the Frozen Four and like winning that is huge. Winning Natty is huge, and I know up here in Canada it's not as recognizable, but I know like down there, it like in Canada we have the World Juniors and we have the Memorial Cup.
You guys
so
still
I
do
imagine
World Juniors?
We do, yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
And so I imagine down there it's like that, but at a whole other emotional, you know what I mean? Like it's, I don't know, like so I imagine like now that that's kind of happened and you got to lick your wounds, like it's the best position to be in because it's like you have this traumatic event, this traumatic loss, as it were, and now they're like, hey, do you want to come and play in the NHL? And you're like, yes, but then there's also this reality of like, well, we actually don't have a guaranteed spot for you in the NHL. It's not as simple as like a yes, let me just slide in.
Right. That becomes kind of the big question, fellas, is like, should there be a slot ready and waiting for James Hagens? Dan, I'll start with you. Like, should there just be a spot in this lineup that is James Hagens' to take tomorrow?
They've had a rotating door going on that third line, so I do think there isn't really a solidified like, hey, this is your 12 best forwards. Like, don't mess it up. I will say in the last 5 games they are 3-0-2, so they have been playing well recently. They've been playing well since January. I think January 1st they're one of the best teams in the league and point percentage. So they have something good going right now, and I understand where it's like, hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But when you look at the guys that are rotating in, where it's Steves, it's new addition Lucas Raquel, who's actually playing well, AC Mont, I don't see a scenario where it's like, okay, maybe you put him down in Providence for a few games, you do the McAvoy route where it's amateur tryout, and like the Bruins' top prospects in the past decade, McAvoy and Pasta, they've all played games in Providence, so it's not unheard of for him to play in Providence. But being an NCAA player, you have all the leverage. Like he can go back to college again if he wanted to. I don't think he would want to do that, but I do think there is a spot in lineup for him if he chose to do it. It's just the matter of where do you put him? Do you put him on the first line with Pasta and Minton, or what's the shuffling? I put out a tweet just with like a mock lineup with him in it where he was on the first line. I think you put him on the third line too. But I think when you're talking about Raquel, Steves, and Asimon, I think it's kind of a no-brainer that he can slot in there over them, because I don't think those are guys that are in your future or are kind of solidified in lineup at all this year.
No, I totally agree with that, and it is like the clearest path, right? Is that third line slot.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, Raquel, Isermont, Steves. And I think it's been a bit of a happy accident that Elias Lindholm, granted, I think it's more of a health issue than a play issue, has kind of slotted down there. I'm not going to say demoted. I'm going to say slot because
I'm really happy
when healthy.
Accident.
When healthy, he has shown the league and everyone that he is a top line center. It's just when he's healthy, So we're
He scored a goal last game.
Calgary Flames fans are laughing at us, and he did score. He hit
5-on-5, right?
I have seen, I imagine that iPad has a little tab on there that says the tweet machine or whatever. But so that's a good selling point, right? It's not because I don't think Hagens is the kind of kid that's oh, you're gonna come and play on the third line and it's not all the stars and glamour. But one thing we've seen with Reichel, and I know it's only been 2 games, but Geeky's been kind of on this dry spell. Lindholm obviously broke out of it last game, but they both have kind of been, as far as the top 3 lines, they've been the ones we've all been kind of wanting more of.
Mm-hmm.
And when Reichel showed up, I mean, those guys in my mind are like a Roman candle. They just need a spark. And Reichel's been their spark. So if you throw a kid like Jimmy Hagens, who's no care in the world, literally house money, playing time, just like our season, I don't see where the harm comes in from that. And you get to play with a guy like Elias Lindholm, who's played with Gaudreau, Tkachuk, Pasta,
Mm-hmm.
on the world stage, Nylander, the list goes on. And it's a kid like Hagens is probably dying to play with somebody who's just got a resume where he can just poke his brain and be well, what if I do this? I'm sure there's probably shit he's seen because manager did. He's I can't do that playing college, but I can do it with Elias Lindholm because Elias Lindholm's played with this guy, that's where my mindset is with this situation.
There is something to be said for that. As much as Lindholm's having a shitty season, you do get that. A guy who's been there and done that for, a decade plus in the league, played with some good players, also can cover a lot. Defensively can cover up a lot of ills. Obviously Hagens is going to play on the wing. He's actually played a lot on the wing for BC this year. He's not going to be an NHL center tomorrow. And so that's where you're on the third line, but you have someone with muscle probably on the wing. Maybe it's Geeky, maybe it's Jeannot. I know people will get all pissed off that I imply that he should play with Jeannot on the same line. And you have someone who is defensively responsible in Elias Lindholm. That could kind of open up some creativity for Hagens right away. Again, he's not going to be playing first line minutes, even if he's on the first line. But that could open some. I do like that point because I've ragged on Elias Lindholm quite a bit, but I do think that's where it fits in quite nicely. Is when you bring in a kid that's 19 years old that could play alongside him.
Yeah. And I know I can't remember if we were recording or we were talking before, but I know you guys brought up Ryan Donato. And when Ryan Donato came up.
Yeah. That was with the red light on. That was with the red light on.
This is 7-8 years ago. But I remember it was just same thing. I think that if I remember correctly, they paired him up with Krejci. And it was essentially do whatever you need to do.
That's how you score in the first game.
I've got it, man. I've got this locked down. If you fumble the puck, I'm here. In worst case scenario, Charlie McAvoy's there.
Right.
Go.
Which you have a jersey of.
And Aspro's
I
there
do.
too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find this part of it really interesting is the leverage part. Bobby, you touched on it a little bit earlier. Hagens has a good deal of leverage here just because the situation he's in, in a vacuum, right? If he's not, if they tell you, we'd love for you to go to Providence the last month of the season, and maybe we'll bring you up when there's the playoffs, kind of the Charlie McAvoy situation. James Hagens could be you know what? Actually, I'm good. I want to play in the NHL. I know I'm good enough to play in the NHL. I can kind of hold the cards here. And if worse comes to worse, I can pull a Cutter Gauthier. I know that's the worst case scenario, but that wasn't that long ago. And it was at the same college that James Hagens is at right now for the same coach. That could be pulled off. I doubt it will, but there's got to be that fear. And that's probably some of the anxiety that Bruins fans have right now. But does he hold extra leverage with the fact that the Bruins lineup could still use a bit of an offensive jolt, even though they've been playing well recently and really since the start of the year, and B, he's the best prospect they've had since Seguin. Pasternak was good and turned out to be a Hall of Fame player, but Hagens, this was Hagens' watch all season long. Does that provide extra leverage for him?
I would certainly use it as leverage, and being a top 10 pick and a blue chip prospect, I think he's coming off a great season. He averaged 1.3 8 points per game at BC. He was the Hockey East scoring champion. So I think he knows he has a bunch of leverage. Yep, as you can see, his resume at BC this year was pretty impressive. And
Won the
if
bean
I
pile,
were,
which is bigger than the national championship. So,
yeah,
so
that was the most impressive thing there. But
yeah, could win the Hobie. Well,
yeah,
good.
yeah, which is another thing. I was like him or honestly, Dean had a one BC player we haven't talked about yet was Dean and how good of a year he's had. And
Should they
that's
sign
just-
Letourneau first? I'll hang up and listen.
Is that confirmed? I saw reports saying he's definitely going back to BC next year. Is that like
He's
confirmed
going
or?
back to BC,
It's- He's going back. I think he needs at least one more year.
That's the right move for him. Just especially what he was kind of thrown into it last year and he had a terrible year. So if you brought him up to province next year or even
it would be
possibly the
totally
Bruins-
hilarious if Don Sweeney just didn't learn the lesson. Like I think he was the first one that said like, yeah, we probably shouldn't have sent Dean to BC. Probably should have done USHL. And then he has a good year. He's like, yeah, fuck it. You know what? Providence is better for him. Let's send him there. That would be hilarious. That the Sweeneyest, baby.
Yeah, but I think the Cutter Gauthier situation is kind of the leverage you need when you look at from Hagen's perspective, and I think he knows the hype around him. If he's been living in Boston all year, Bruins fans. I know some people, the people that don't think Hagen should make the jump right away. They think Bruins fans are getting kind of overhyped about him. In our defense, we haven't, like you said, seen a prospect like this since Sagan. So we don't really draft well, and we don't really get top 10 picks that often. So I do think Bruins fans, are okay to get kind of overhyped about someone, not overhyped, but hyped about someone. So I think Hagens can use that to his advantage and wait it out. I thought this Toronto game would be a great game for him to kind of come out. You're going against a team. You take the weekend off, coming up against a team that's, I think, trying to tank, but they're doing a bad job at it with the post Matthews. They've gotten some points here and there. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting. But I think the Cutter Gauthier situation is definitely something that's in the back of your mind and should be in the back of Sweeney's mind as well.
I mean, like it is worst case Cutter Gauthier. Like that is the worst case scenario, but it's gotta be back of mind. It's gotta be somewhere there, right? Like, yeah.
It's definitely there. And I think from a league standpoint, this is also something that I think Don Sweeney probably feels the pressure on from other GMs. Because as he mentioned, is the Cutter Gauthier saga. Before that, we had Jimmy Vesey. Even longer before that, you had Blake Wheeler, who just refused flat out to go to Phoenix at the time. And obviously wrote out his collegiate career, came to Boston. And it's and I think there's a lot of executives and a lot of GMs that probably would never admit it, but there is a legit anxiety with these kids and the leverage that they do understand they have. I mean, it's not 15 years ago where the agents are like, this is the deal, take it or leave it. The agents are smarter now. The agencies are smarter now. Like the window of opportunity, because it's not just like coming into the NHL. It's like, you understand, he understands it's a business asset from him. He's a business asset for the Bruins, and you got to leverage the best of both worlds. That's getting a little too deep, but as just a fan and someone who's watched this team all season, I mean, the Stadium Series game, we could have used a young kid like Jimmy Hagens. You knew Kucherov was going to score and tie that. You just knew it, but we didn't have anyone who was like, all right, like, here's your time, kid. It would have been nice, like we had the Poitras goal and stuff, but like the Florida game and just a handful of times, even like that Montreal game we recently had, like you just knew Cole Caulfield. Once overtime hit, you just knew Cole Caulfield was gonna, he's just gonna milestone us for the rest of his career. I mean, and you had that moment where you're like, I really wish we had a star-studded winner. Not dissing Pasternak, obviously, but it's like I wish we had a kid who just like gonna go out there, win the game. Get the Hockey Night in Canada towel. And like that's where I think it's where he holds the most leverage with this season, because he's like, look at me overtime and shootout losses you have. You need goals.
Right. That is, you're right. Like that's the ultimate leverage. Like you guys need some creativity. You guys apparently need somebody else on the team that can get Morgan Geekie the puck. Like somebody without the number 88 needs to be able to get this your best pure goal scorer the puck right now. I can do that. And it's I know he's not going to come in and be, a point and a half a game. Like, he's not going to do that, but he can provide you some creativity. He can maybe draw a penalty with his speed and creativity at a pivotal moment in the game. He's probably not going to clear a puck off the goal line, but he's probably going to get you much better chances than you've gotten out of your bottom six, even though the team has been playing well, which kind of leads me to my next point. Is like, we all seem to think the Bruins need him in some capacity. Do the Bruins really need him the way they've been playing?
I will say this. So they got about 12 games left. Here are just some names that they're playing. Buffalo,
Good.
Minnesota,
Good.
Dallas, CBJ, shout out Bones.
Bones
Carolina, Tampa,
good.
Florida, obviously. But they're playing a lot of playoff teams and teams that you could comfortably say are in contention.
And better than the Bruins.
And better
who
than
are
the Bruins.
playing well. Other than Florida, every one of those teams is better than the Bruins. Well, Columbus. Toss up.
Yeah, that's a toss up for sure.
But good. Yes.
And one thing, and we have the luxury of a review mirror where we've witnessed this with Mason Lohrei. We witnessed this with Matt Poitras, where teams didn't know too much about these kids, and then they came in, and like Mason Lohrai's first year, he skated circles because no one knew about him. Right. He was a kid from Louisiana.
Yeah.
Just your
who was
typical
playing defense,
Louisiana
you know what I
kid
mean?
playing the NHL.
And Matt Poitras, when he was out that first part of the year where he's healthy, like scouts and coaches were like, what is this now? And when you have someone come in with that juice and that spice, especially wearing a Bruins uniform, there is a form of psychological warfare for other fan bases, no matter the success these fan bases have had. A Dallas Stars fan watching Jimmy Hagens come in and break Jason Robinson's ankles, they're going to throw a hissy fit because they're going to be like, of course they got, you get everything. They get the Four Nations. They get, all the jerseys. They get the char. Of course they've got Jimmy Hagens now. And of course he's good. And like that, you need those like back pocket deals, as it were, when you're playing these teams, like to hit them with the left punch. Because keep in mind, like Minnesota, Dallas, like these aren't just like on the road they're fighting to not play each other. Every game matters to them just as much as it matters to us. So if you can throw a left hook into their game plan, that's a win in itself. Which is why I think we do need Jimmy Hagens.
And I think maybe what kind of goes unsaid here is, it's kind of like the cliche that Don Sweeney uses all the time. But it's like, this is a deadline acquisition later than everybody else is getting one. Obviously every year we see college guys kind of make the jump for a little bit. Ryan Leonard last year, and it wasn't very productive, but like there's not a lot of teams, especially ones that are vying for a playoff spot right now, that could just add a dude like that. Philly, I guess, can, because they're still in the picture with Porter Martone, but he's still playing. So you're going to wait on him. There's not a lot of teams that are bringing in a guy right now that can actually make an impact. James Hagens, Dan, can make an impact, and the Bruins have that. Columbus doesn't. Detroit doesn't. Who else is it? Ottawa doesn't. That's huge.
Buffalo doesn't have
Buffalo
anyone.
Doesn't.
They are what they are.
And what they are is kind of nasty.
Yeah.
To
Facts.
I do think one of the reasons why some Bruins fans, or what the front office thought with that trade deadline, was they didn't do anything, but you knew Hagens would eventually possibly join the club. So I think that was one of the selling points of not doing anything at the deadline, was that he could be up your sleeve down the stretch. And now we're down the stretch, and now his season's over, and we're like, okay, what's the update? And the update is there is no update. And with that being said, it's kind of crazy that I think that he's just letting the situation kind of drag on. I think a lot of people think the Hagen stuff, some people are saying you can't just throw him into the fire, like he's undersized. But one thing I'd like to add is the Bruins are in the playoffs. They're playing well. It's not like you're bringing him in here to try and save the season and try to get back in the playoffs, or put him on the first line and ask him to do everything. If you just put him on the third line with Lindholm and he can, learn a lot, it answers a question that you'd have in the offseason, where it's like, do you want to wait till next year to find out if Hagens can, play in the NHL right now? Or do you want to find that out now with 10 to 12 games left in the season? So I think that's just another reason why you should be playing him right now, is because it will answer an offseason question and help you prepare for the next season. So I do think that experience is very critical right now, and whether he goes to Providence first or not, I'm not sure, but it will be interesting how it plays out. But I just wanted to add that I think this can help us plan for next year as well, including a playoff push this year.
Yeah, Dan, I'm glad you brought up the experience thing, because one thing I do want to bring up too that's maybe complicating the Hagens scenario is if he signs his ELC with the Bruins, he's not eligible for the AHL playoffs. But if he signs his ATO with the Providence Bruins, he's not eligible for the NHL playoffs. And I think there is a part of this that where I think Don Sweeney and co are trying to decide which playoff experience would be better, because I think it's quick to forget that Providence is at the top of their division.
I can tell you which one's going to be longer.
They're a wagon.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Providence didn't just lose to anybody last year. They lost to the AHL champions in a very grueling series, mind you. Like if Providence gets past Charlotte last year, there's a solid chance they go to the finals. And it's one of those things where I think they're trying to weigh that option. Like, hey, maybe Evan Goal and Ryan Muginel looking over Hagens is the better route to do than bring him up to the big show, because like you said, there is a pretty hefty chance the Providence Bruins go a lot farther. And like that's a tight room down there too, and it's a lot of kids with experience. The only thing that it's a bit of thin ice, because there's a few kids down there who the writing's on the wall, and if you bring in Hagens, it is beyond clear that it's done.
Let's dive into that. Honestly, Bobby, because that is a great point, right? You're a big Matty Poitras guy, right?
Big
Potsy guy. Yeah.
Still believing in the Pots.
And I think it's probably more glaring for Fabian Lysell and Georgi Merkulov. But go into that. Like, if Hagens is down there, what does that say to the prospects, albeit lesser prospects than the hype of Hagens, that they've brought in the last 5-6 years if Jimmy goes down to Providence?
Yeah, it's like I think you nailed it on the head. Like, if he goes down to Providence, it's all but done for Fabian Lysell, and that's no diss to him. That's no diss to Hagens. It's just he's been given every chance, and he's never rose to the occasion to steal that opportunity. That's where I sit with it. Merkulov, same thing, where it's just like you were given a handful of chances. I know you could there's a whole podcast episode about that saga, but I just think like with some of the kids that they have down there already, whether it be like the Tufties, Farinacci's out for the year, but let me just pull up quick fast, because there is one person I'm thinking of that's absolutely killing me. Joey Abate, who I think is one of the I would love to see him with the Bruins. I don't know if he has the skill set just yet, but just like someone who's you can tell is like a pro and can maybe take Hagens under his wing and be like, here's what you do. Here's the everyday thing. Here's the transition. Poitras obviously flows into that. And having a guy like Patrick Brown, who's gone up and down with the Bruins and been part of the organization. Riley Tufte, who actually had a very successful run with the Bruins, I thought, early on in the season. I thought maybe that would be something we explore a little more. Where I think up here, it's like you're going to be playing with a bunch of guys, whether it be like Steves and Asimont, who are like, all right, who also have that weird like, oh, it's over, hey.
Yeah.
And once again,
it's more like we're still doing this. We're still all right, sure.
Not everyone can get the Jeffrey Veal deal where you get traded to a contender. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's But like what Ryan Muginel and Evan Gold have done in Providence is such a testament to the Bruins organization. And that's why I don't hinder at the fact of him going down to Prov. And I know that Ty mentioned earlier, he is open to it. And I think winning helps, obviously.
Yeah.
You look at a team with 95 points. Oh, they want me to go join them? Like, all right.
Yeah.
So
one name that pops up a lot with the Hagens is Ryan Leonard. I've been seeing that a lot on Twitter.
Yeah.
what do you guys think about that? People are saying, Ryan Leonard was they thought he was NHL level ready at the end of last year. He goes up to a Capitals team that was in the playoffs and didn't play that well. And people are comparing the Hagen situation to that. They think because Ryan Leonard didn't play well, that Hagen's most likely will follow a similar path. Do you think that's a good comparison? And does that change your perspective on anything with the Hagens?
Honestly, kind of, but not really. And this might be an unpopular opinion because he didn't look great last year, Leonard. And he got a couple of playoff games under his belt. That was it. But you look at his season this year and he's not dominating, but for a 21-year-old in his first full season on a team that's not that good, it's not crazy bad. If I told you James Hagens was going to give you 40 points next year, which is about what Leonard's going to do, it's it's not great, but I'm not ready to sell the farm, dude. I'm not ready to cut Hagens loose after that, especially when you consider kind of what he has around him. If the Bruins don't add some pieces in this offseason, they could be a Washington next year. They could be a team that's on the outside looking in. That's not totally insane. And so Leonard being a plus player and getting to 40 points, again, it's not great. You're not writing home about it, but it is certainly not the end of the world. And, to bring up the Jack Hughes comp, Jack Hughes numbers sucked the first 2 years in the league. And Hagens is going to face similar challenges in terms of the way he plays, his size. Jack Hughes had really not anything around him. And the Bruins have a little bit more than that, but that's where the Ryan Leonard thing just doesn't get to me. It's not like he had to be sent down to the AHL for 2.5, 3 months, a la Christian Campbell for the Red Sox, for example. That's a guy that you look back on and you're he probably brought him up too early. And then he has to go down and fix some things and his confidence is shot and he doesn't make the major league roster coming out the next year. That didn't happen to Ryan Leonard. So it doesn't bother me as much as it does some other fans, which I do understand why they're bothered by it, but doesn't bug me all that much, Bobby. Does it bug you?
No.
It can bug you.
It can, yeah. It definitely. I think the only thing that would maybe bug me, and this is definitely overanalyzing, is I just think structurally as an organization, the Bruins are in a better position than Washington was last year. And I think when Leonard came in, he obviously fell short of the massive expectations that Capitals fans had for him, even to furthermore, other fans had. But yeah, this season, he's been one of the more shinier spots on a pretty ugly team in a year where you're kind of, in a way, breaking up with your franchise player in a very, I think there, once it's all said and done, I think there might be a fun book written on how the last year Ovechkin has spent with the Capitals.
Yeah.
Down and you know what I mean? He refused to give him a farewell tour. They trade his best friend, the godfather of his son. And I think what Leonard's done with them has been fair enough. But I think if you put Leonard in the Bruins, I think he has a way more productive run. I mean, Leonard's not going to be playing. Leonard's not playing with a Lindholm or a Zaka or a Mitten to a further extent, So it's recency bias, obviously, because it's the furthest we know. But I would look maybe more like Gabe Perreault with the Rangers, and I know he hasn't necessarily made his mark on the scoreboard, but he's given Rangers fans a lifeline of something where they're oh, maybe it's not, maybe it's not all that, but maybe seeing Chris Kreider potentially win a Stanley Cup in orange isn't the worst thing in the world anymore, because we have something to look forward to.
I remember last year was Ryan Leonard's debut at TD Garden. Was that his first game or was that his second game?
I want to say.
Do you remember his BC teammates cheering him on during practice? Because I remember not after the game. I think it was the day before the game. Alex Ovechkin and the Capitals were slamming beers at a BC bar with Ryan Leonard. And it's kind of funny. That bar is like 5 minutes away from where I used to live in Brighton. So I was like, just imagine being like a 20-year-old or a hockey fan, and you're walking down in Brighton, and you just look in the window, and Alex Ovechkin is slamming beers at
Pounding
your,
brews
your
with a
local
20-year-old.
establishment at a BC bar.
That's
But
unreal.
my last question with Hagens is, if he does end up in the lineup this year, who do you think would get subbed out for him? It'd probably be, maybe Marat, maybe Reichel, maybe Corrali. Who do you think, if he is in the lineup, who would you take out of the lineup?
I like, obviously Reichel's the easy answer.
Yep.
But I do like Marat. I love Marat Hustatinoff. We all do, but I do think a night off might help him. I think he's a very fast player, and I think sometimes just having a moment to have a beer and watch the game again might do him
Get
wonders.
Marat a beer, man. Just
Yeah,
can someone
beer
get
is
him a
never-
goddamn beer?
Just have a beer, sit on the the 9th floor of the Garden, not in a bad way, just in the like, hey, like, you are
Good
you're
job. Have
so
a beer.
talented.
Yeah, it's worked out for
Yeah.
like every Bruin this season, not name Elias Lindholm. by the way,
And,
so
like, come on, who wouldn't want to have a beer at the Garden and watch Hagens,
Yeah.
free beer.
make his playoff debut, make his Bruins
Yeah.
debut, and he's not gonna be, you look on your side, Tuukka's probably there. Tuukka's like, why did we suck that much for a season to get one of these kids? It's like, it's your fault, man. You were
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
good.
15
Once again,
picks.
in Boston, Tuukka, you are the problem. I'm here to tell you as a Bruins fan that you are the problem once again, which could be a great segue here, by the way. Okay, because I asked friend of the show, Jack Studley, the other day. I was like, are you surprised that people are still bitching about Jeremy Swayman, like this season that he's having? And he goes, they bitched about Tuukka Rask for 15 years, dude. Like, they just, part of this fan base, not a huge part, but also not a really small part of this fan base, never liked Tuukka freaking Rask. And we're starting to see it with Jeremy Swayman as well. Like, it doesn't matter how well Jeremy Swayman plays, because we've seen him pretty much at his best this year and since the Olympic break in particular, when the Bruins have really needed him, and people will still bitch about him and say that he's not good enough and that they're never going to win anything with him based off nothing. He's played in one postseason and he absolutely carried them to win a series, and yet people are like, you're never going to win shit with that guy. Bobby Brewski, man. Like, why? I just, the numbers are unreal. Like, this guy's a Vezina candidate right now.
100%.
That's not a crazy thing to say.
100%. If Sorokin's not having the year he's having, I think Swayman is the guy. But shout out Lauren, by the way.
Shout out Lauren. Look at
Go
Lauren's
see it for your
stats
eyes,
here.
man. Go see it for your eyes. I think people are still very ticked off about the whole contract dilemma.
Definitely.
And I think
That did
it's,
suck. It
Boston
did.
does
Like,
have a high
Yeah.
Irish population. The Irish have grudges, they take their
Yes.
grudges to the grave. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's, there might be a little part of that. I will say I've been one to pick on Swayman, but I'm also a Canadian who's maybe didn't realize how butthurt I'd be over Jack Hughes scoring in overtime. As I realized. So maybe
We want to bring it up.
Yeah, the
You brought
first
it
2 weeks I was maybe like, like, you're not gonna let that in. Like, I thought you were a gold medal winner. You know what I mean? So
Undefeated. Jeremy Swayman, undefeated at the Olympics. Want to know?
yeah,
It's true. People forget that.
People forget.
Yeah, that's. But yeah, it's like it's the thing, right? Like, and I not to be the mean guy, but I've had a few people when I was in Boston rig on me over Swayman, like, just everything in the book, like, he's trash, he's not going to help us win. Like, I would let him rant, like, because I had it happen to me 3 different times in 3 different parts of Boston, mind you. Once at the Greatest Bar, once in Salem, and then once in Somerville. And every time I ended it with being like, every time I ended it with like, listen, I think he's the only goaltender on the planet that could beat the Florida Panthers when they're at full strength. I don't think anyone
was
else
good.
could do it. Edmonton had to play 2 different goalies in that series just to get to 7. I think Swayman, given another chance, I think he does it. I think he's the one that slays the dragon. Obviously, Florida, we're not going to get that chance because you go to 3 straight finals, you're going to have some band-aids you're going to have some bruises that band-aids can't cover up. And, we're showing that. But he's always been a guy where I'm like, ride or die, man. Because I don't think any of those playoff losses were on him.
No,
As
not
much
on
as
that
you can look-
23-24 team. No,
No.
again, he won a series for you. Like Pasternak scored the goal, but Swayman won a series for you. And Dan, we talked about this earlier in the year, before kind of people caught onto the train, no big deal. But we're like, Swayman's putting up like really good numbers right now. We're saying this in like December, and then they kind of hit a snag around Christmas, and I was like, well, there goes that. We jinxed that. And he's been his best since the Olympic break. And Saturday against Detroit, friggin' money, dude. Like absolute money. Is this the franchise goalie we were promised?
Based on this year, yes. And like you said, you brought up Detroit. That was an amazing game by him. Playoff atmosphere. We've seen him win playoff series in the past. I always said this year, if we make the playoffs, like I don't think we'll win the Stanley Cup, but I could totally see us winning the series because Swayman just stole it. Maybe we beat Buffalo. Buffalo's a wagon, but they're inexperienced. And I think that could be our potential first round matchup. Right now, we have a 75% chance of making the playoffs, according to Money Puck. So if we play Buffalo, I was going to be another question. Like right now, it's looking like either Buffalo, Tampa Bay, or Carolina. Not sure who you guys prefer, but a Buffalo matchup would be certainly a
Wait, can we
great
do
matchup.
that real quick? Can we do that real quick? Bobby, who do you prefer of those 3?
Buffalo.
I'm
Buffalo
too.
has
Is it any experience?
Fans.
They
It's not even
what?
experiencing. I don't want Swayman to play in Tampa. No disrespect to Tampa fans online are mean. I will give him that. I will say Tampa fans are the one franchise that they've said shit to me, and I'm like, that was good.
Are they your least favorite? Are they your least favorite Twitter trolls? What fan base irks you the most?
Tampa, but they own us.
Really?
That's why.
Yeah,
Tough. I hate Tampa
those
more than I
Florida
hate
teams.
Montreal. It's the Panthers don't even bother me because it's a lot of them are like, because I remember I interacted with
new
Florida
fans. They're new
before the
fans.
2023. It's the new fans, and I'm like, I like football. Yeah, I'm no stranger to this. Like these are just like dumb chirps, like Panther, like you're fat. I'm like, that's great, man.
Wow,
that's
awesome.
great.
Sick.
That's great. People stop me in the street to get a photo. Like, what do people do for you, man?
Love it.
Like,
yeah. My
Carolina.
favorite Twitter is just when they like you say something and they just like post your profile picture and it's like,
oh, it's my favorite.
wow, like yeah, man, you got me.
It's rare that it happens here, but I will say, yeah, Tampa's probably the one that I can do without. But it's rare that it happens here. But every now and then, when Jets fans get like lippy or whatever, I'm like, buddy, my picture is saved in phones all over Raleigh, Carolina, all over Sunrise, Tampa, Toronto. Like, you are the least of my worries, buddy. I am in people's phones. Like, that is a level of rent free that you will never touch.
I tweeted out
whatever.
I tweeted out a photo of a mock lineup with Hagens, and it got a lot of comments. And I got chirped by a guy. He called me a bonehead, and his Twitter picture is a picture of him, a blurry photo of him on a couch with a parakeet on his shoulder. Ooh. And I was tempted to do that Twitter photo response, but I was the better man and did not.
Yeah, and I'm afraid he might have got your ass. Okay.
I would just comment PETA. You might want to check on the livelihood of this bird here, Call Ace Ventura, that bird might not even be his, man.
Yeah. Toronto fans are fun to mess with too, though. I think we said in a podcast a few weeks ago, but we love trolling Montreal fans. Have you been to Montreal, Bobby?
Not yet. No, it's on the docket.
It definitely should be. I went the past 2 years. I didn't go this year, but there's a respect there. We hate each other, but at the end of the game, like I literally saw at the end of the game, Montreal fans shook a Bruins fan's hand after DeBrusque scored on them in overtime.
I think that's so funny when fans do that, by the way. Like as if
Oh,
we
yeah.
have just been in the battle. You know
as
what
if
I
we
mean?
were, as if we were playing.
A good game, man. Good game. I love when
Yeah.
fans say that to each other.
Good
What the
job.
fuck
Good
did you
job.
do? What did I do, man?
Good
What are you
job.
talking about? But it does happen.
But
It does
there's a
happen.
respect there with Toronto fans. There really isn't like a respect there. It's like we own you,
No.
little brother kind of relationship there. So,
I-
and we talk about them a lot. Like I unintentionally, like we brought it up earlier. You brought it up to Toronto earlier with Austin Matthews being outscored by Brandon Carlo, but we just end up naturally talking about
Someone's
them,
listening
and
to this
it's
separate clip and
unintentional.
they're like, "Wait, what? What?
Punching
What were they talking about?"
But
I
it's
guess
very
at home, so
fun.
they're punching their TV.
Yeah. But speaking of Jeremy Swayman, he's had a lot of big games this year. I think the first half of the season when we had that win in Montreal, he had I think 26 saves, 3-2 win. So we've talked a lot of he's shown up in big moments. I know that people have that contract situation kind of holding over him. Also, just in Boston or big market in general, when you sign a big contract with a team, people are just going to hate you no matter what. They're just going to say you're overpaid or not playing up to that. So I do think what happened last year, people will just not forget about, and they'll hold it against him for the rest of his life. But I think if you're, a real fan and you know hockey, you see the impact he's had. He's had some great moments for us so far. He got the fight on the resume. He fought Vasilevsky, so maybe if there is a matchup with Tampa Bay, we'll get another fight there. But I think he's shown up big time, and I'm excited to see what he does the remainder of the year. There was some workload kind of questions with him. I know last year he had a bigger workload, and as opposed to his split with Omar, but I think he's stepped up this year, and maybe he could pull off another series win in the playoffs this year. I could totally see it happening.
I could see it.
As
Like I
well.
said, with Buffalo, especially if Buffalo being that looks like it might be the lineup. I think the fans and just the things they'll say to him, they'll just feel him.
Honestly, like as much as
that's where I want.
as much as Swayman can be douchey at times, we saw that with the contract negotiations. I think he's a little bit itching to get into a fight too much, where I'm just like, dude, fucking relax and keep stopping the puck. As much as he is like that, I will give it to him, man. Like, that's not just performative, because he does revel in that. Like, clearly the way he played against Toronto, the way he played against Florida in that playoffs, like clearly he does kind of feed off of that.
I wouldn't doubt if he has that Michael Jordan thing where when he plays a team, say Columbus. I'm not going to say it's against Columbus. Columbus fans are crazy when they show up. I can see him being that guy where he makes up like storylines in his head. Like Michael Jordan, like this guy dissed me or whatever. You heard those Jordan lore. I could see Swayman being like, "Oh, like Corey Perry said, my haircut was bad or whatever."
How about
Corey
that?
Perry?
Morgan Geeky Twitter energy.
I was gonna say, dude,
Yeah.
it's kind of up to his teammates. Like, I need Morgan Geeky going into the room and being like, "Sway, man, you're not gonna
Here's a
believe
tweet.
what they're saying about shit. Like, you're not gonna believe this shit." Like, and he's got like burners that he's putting out there, just to put up there. Morgan Geeky, Twitter all-star. Apparently told by Mason Lowry to tweet this. So, like, Geeky and Lowry should be going in the locker room and just being like, "Sway, like, they said this about you. They like, can you believe what friggin' Tage Thompson said? Like, that's unbelievable." And just make it all up. Like that could be the Bruins' key to victory in the first round. Really,
the Bruins are on
I'm here
Twitter.
for it.
They're scrolling.
They are, dude. Which I don't.
So actually,
trust
not
me.
a place to be, but
I know.
when
I'm just like, I don't know, but hey, for us, it's not bad. For us,
when I tweeted that
professionals.
lineup I tweeted what the Bruins lineup could look like with Reichel and Hagens in it. Lucas Reichel liked that tweet. So I had him on the third line and I put Hagens on the first, but
and Reichel was like, "Yeah,
He's like, I made the call.
I was like,
all right, that's all that
I saw
matters.
I saw that. I'm like, is this like a burner or like a fan account? But it seemed legit. Like, so I have that. I have those receipts. I also, this is off topic, but in college, 2016, this is when the Bruins were missing the playoffs. That the 2 years they missed the playoffs, I was a little upset. But I tweeted take Torrey Krug off the power play. Kid can't hit net. And he liked that tweet. And I thought that was the best thing ever. So like,
which makes me
people-
wonder how much Sweeney checks Twitter, honestly.
yeah. I don't think he'll be I don't think he'll be a guest on this pod if that's true.
Probably not. There's some deep cuts there. Yeah.
Oh, I will say with Morgan Geeky, because there is history there. When the Bruins did their walk-in song on TikTok, because Only Bruins, we always end our episode with Mr. Brightside.
Yes.
And he just goes, Mr. Brightside by the Killers, and gives this like devilish look. And I was like, oh man. I know they play at the Garden, but I was like, there's a little part of me that's like, whatever, it's something, we're in the same sentence. I'm always like, oh, hope you didn't listen to last week's pod.
No good. Yeah, that is a tough line that we walk every day, all of us. Like, who knows, man? Jeremy Swayman could be listening to this podcast right now.
I mean, it's somewhere on the live stream.
I did give him the link for whenever he
Yeah.
wance to join.
He couldn't wait till tomorrow morning. He needs to listen live.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's gonna call in.
I'll say one thing that kind of caught me when I was in Boston 2 years ago. We were doing a live trade deadline stream, and I was at Warrior, and I was doing a live stream from my phone just to kind of chime in. And at one point, like, Hampus rolled up, and it's somewhere on that live stream. You got to go to like whatever market is. But I asked Hampus, I was like, "Hey, like, could you jump on his live stream?" He's like, "Yeah, of course, Bobby." And I didn't register it until like after.
That's awesome.
And then like Shan, who I was with, she's like, "How did you know your name?" And I was like, "Oh, that's awful." I was like, "I'm so glad I've never said anything mean about it."
And by the
He's
way,
in, like he's in his like Batmobile, like I'm gonna hurt his feelings, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
and by the way, like, I don't know about you guys, I could be bought. You come on the show, man. You come on the show. Elias Lindholm, probably a good move. Come on the show, brother. Come into our waiting arms. I won't say shit about you ever.
just
Ever
guilt
again.
trips you so hard. Like, you ever hear of when this muscle tears into this muscle? Yeah, that's what I did. Still play.
Oh man, it would work. It would totally. I'd be like,
Yeah.
aye, Captain. You're right.
An apology episode.
I was wrong. I think Don Sweeney would be the ultimate apology episode. I don't like. It was from the early days of this pod, but we got pretty good. I did pretty good. Now I keep thinking about a Buffalo Boston playoff series.
Be sick. I think
I'm
the
in.
NHL
I
world
love it.
needs it.
I think it's awesome all the way around. I think I said this a couple weeks ago. Like, you do have a team that has not been there in 15 years. Like, none of these guys have played. So you maybe get that psychological advantage, which could be overblown, but maybe you get it. And you're going to have awesome atmospheres. You're going to be two cities that really give a shit about it. You know, I know Carolina's good crowds in the playoffs. And, oh my God, the Florida teams, they win all the time. Let's be real. Those places don't really give a shit. They want to chirp Bobby Brewski on Twitter, and that's it. Okay. They don't really, it's not life or death to win playoff hockey games. They just want clout with Bobby Brewski on Twitter. Buffalo and Boston, though, that'd be sick.
I will defend Carolina. Carolina does love hockey. I will.
They've got a good niche.
There
fan
is
base.
a large group of like they like live and die with the Canes. Like they
I
like
love
when
Canes tailgate.
Bratton left, they were pissed.
And this is Dan, is this not a tragedy? Because we're on the road, I'm in the road office. I can't pull out my Carolina Hurricanes Mikko Rantanen jersey from the closet while Bob's At some
But I
point, I
will
gotta
say
wear it.
this
I've talked
too.
about it like
That
3 or 4
is
times. I've
a
never
great
worn
jersey.
it on the show.
I will say this
Jersey.
too with Buffalo and Boston that has poetry linked to this. A lot of Sabre fans do say this all started when Lucic murdered Miller.
I was at that game.
Unreal. So if their first time in the playoffs is against us, there's even more of a like a thirst. Obviously, we're not bringing Lucic over to be the flag bearer, but I mean,
We
you know,
could
Don't
make
put
it
it past
happen.
him. Don't put it
I
past
mean, another
him.
17. We could just ask Ryan Donato do it. He looked pretty good with 17.
There you go. There you go. I think that was
Yeah, dude,
November
Fliggy, you'll
12th
be in
of
the playoffs.
2011. I think is when that happened. It's
If
a
you're dealing
long
with
time
Buffalo
ago.
trolls, though, if you're living on Twitter, just I think a good one is it is a great hockey town, but football is their ride or die. I just say the Sabres are the best team in Buffalo right now, and that kind of gets them going.
Only
I
division
did
champ potentially in Buffalo.
exactly. But I did get to go there. I went to a Patriot Bills game back in October, and fans were they were talking a lot of smack early in the game, but the Patriots actually came off and won that game on a field goal. So definitely have that in the pocket. Having some Bills ammo with you, that can help you a lot when dealing with those trolls. But yeah, it's definitely Twitter's very interesting and can
It's a place.
don't
That's
you
for
can't let it
sure.
ruin your day.
No,
Can't.
it's yeah. A lot of people get turned into a stand-up comedy routine. Like, look what this
Mhm.
person said. This is, oh my god.
Gosh, I
Especially people that
I
send you
sit back
books.
I sit back and I think Twitter's good for my health. I love it. I love being on there. Bobby Brewski, when is the next Only Bruins pod?
Drops this upcoming Friday.
That's huge.
Every
Because
Friday,
it does
baby.
every Friday. Yeah.
He does
Any-
this every Friday.
Are we gonna hear any popular music on there? Any
Most likely the Killers.
No way.
Mr. Brightside.
You shitting me, Herb?
Every Friday, baby. We send you off. We send you off packing into the weekend with a good pregame song.
Can I say something that you'll have to promise not to take the wrong way?
Absolutely. I'll take it the wrong way.
I hate you. Just kidding. No. I do this with
join the line, buddy.
I do this with several podcasts. And it's not every time I listen, but I will sometimes listen to podcasts to fall asleep. Just because like I promise it's not like this is putting me to sleep. It's just comfort food kind of thing.
Yeah.
And those including the Only Bruins pod has done this to me a few times. Those that play music at the end, what a wake up call. It's like 2:30 in the morning on a Tuesday, and I'm hearing Mr. Brightside blaring, and I'm like, fuck, out of my seat.
I'm more shocked you fall asleep to Brett.
It can be tough sometimes. It can be tough sometimes. Trust me. Actually, you know what? It is usually British soccer podcasts. That's what will put me to sleep.
Oh, it's a great accent though.
As a huge Liverpool fan, I get the Scouse accent in there. It's phenomenal.
It's all poetry too. The way they talk about the game, it's poetry. It's Shakespeare. It's modern day Shakespeare.
Kind of like the Only Bruins pod. Kind of like the guy.
It's way too kind.
Bobby Brewski. Find him on Twitter. You can chirp him. He'll love it. Just put a picture of his Twitter profile picture as your response, because that would likely mean that you have also saved it to your phone, like Bobby has told us has happened all across the continent, not just international, or just not just national, but international as well. That's Bobby Brewski, Dan Conlon. I'm Cam Stuart. This has been and will be next week as well, and probably the week after, the Garden Level Pod.